Hell yeah. This is the Facial Recognition Comedy Podcast. I'm Fizza Dasani, and I'm here with...
I'm Amy Silverberg. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for
Already
coming.
having a great time.
Yeah, I mean, we shared a moment where I took a puff of my inhaler.
Yeah.
Because I was having trouble breathing, and you shared it with your... with your
With
platforms.
I shared it on all my platforms. You look very glamorous right now in a fur coat. I called it a faux fur. I don't know if it is or not.
Faux.
I assumed.
Yeah.
Looking very glamorous.
I'm not trying to get canceled.
No, and I don't want you to be canceled. And as you were inhaling out of your inhaler, I was like, she looks glamorous.
Thank
even
you.
with an inhaler.
Thank you. I'm wearing a fur coat for people who aren't watching on YouTube.
There's a camera.
Yeah, we're on camera as well.
Hi.
So, is that a good angle?
I don't know. I don't know what a good angle is on me. Every time I see my face on a different angle, I'm like, I didn't even know that I had that angle.
You know what the worst angle is for me, is when a photographer sort of shoots kind of from behind. Because it's like, all you see is like the back of my chin. And I don't have much of a chin.
Yeah.
So there's like all whatever this is
I hear
like,
you. Photos of me on stage, I have like a really animated face and way of talking when I'm on stage. Candid photos of me, I look deranged. I just look maniacal, no chin, goes right into my neck.
I hate that.
I don't
and
like
it's just
that
like
either.
if you're killing, you're not going to be looking
No.
cute.
They gotta get you in your paused.
Yeah.
You know. Somebody took professional photos of me recently, and he did a really good job.
Yeah.
But as he was taking photos, he was like, "You have such an interesting face." And I was like, not what I want to hear, sir.
Interesting look.
Yeah. He was like, interesting face. Like, pretty much being like different in every angle. And I was like, just shoot me straight on,
Yeah. And did you get shots you liked?
Yeah, I did. He was really good. John Michael Bond. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
he's
did make
great.
fun of him later for saying I had an interesting face. He was like, that wasn't what I meant.
He's
And I was like,
actually-
I forgive you.
He's actually a really nice guy. So when
Super nice.
he said it, I was like, well, maybe.
No. He
Yeah.
didn't mean it. He didn't mean it in a bad way, and he did a really good job. And it was a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
We did it at the LA Public Library, and we kept just running around the library. It was fun.
And the lighting was cool?
Yeah, it was like he took a lot of different kinds of photos, and we didn't ask anyone for permission, so they kept kicking us out.
Yeah. Oh, Zara just walked in. Zara's going to join us at the table.
We were trying to decide who's shorter, you or me. I'm 5 foot half inch.
We're probably around the same height.
Beautiful.
I'm like 5 foot and like 3/4 or 7/8. I'm like right under 5'1".
When you're around 5 feet, you always know the exact the exact measurement.
Yeah, my sister, she's under 5'3", and she won't say it though. I'll get cussed out if she listens to this. She's 5'2.5", I think, but so she'll try to downsize my height. I'm tall for like women in my
For the family.
I'm
You're
5'7".
tall in general. You're tall in general.
I think in America 5'7's only slightly above average height.
In America, 5'4" is the average height. Like,
oh, really?
I'm always around my co-producers, and they're like Amazonian women. And they're like, you're so short. I'm like, actually, you guys are more
I'm
above
normal.
average,
Yeah.
For a South Asian woman, I'm pretty average.
Yeah.
But
For a South Asian, I'm an Amazonian.
Yeah.
but like
I'm hearing
even
you.
for like normal American women, both her and Pallavi are like super tall.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh man, like
People tell me
it's
that men
hard.
are unusually short in LA. I don't know if that's
Yeah, because
true.
there's a lot of Napoleon complex dudes that come here to throw staplers at their assistants.
And I don't mind a short guy as long as he's taller than me, which is not hard to find.
Yeah, see, that is a
Are
little
we
bit more of
talking
a
about?
challenge.
We're talking about height amongst men and women.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just jumped into the conversation.
Oh,
I don't
you're
even know
doing
what we were
great.
talking about when you came. I was talking about bad angles on my face.
We're
Oh my
talking about just
God.
getting shots on, like when you're performing on stage.
Oh my! I had to deal with this last night, where I actually one of the photographer was a comic. I'm like, boy, you are not taking pictures of my chin. Don't do that shit.
It's the chin. We were
Yeah.
talking about the chin.
Yes.
always here.
Can we have
Yes.
just one memo go out to all the photographers? We don't like shots from
Yes.
the bottom. It's not
And
flattering.
it's always the angle where the
For women,
lighting
at
is
least.
just right, where they can
Yes.
catch your one chin hair that you forgot to tweeze that day. And I'm like, why? And of course,
Yeah.
you were playing with the lighting, and then they post it like, and all the dudes are like, great lighting, bro. And I'm like, no, my
Also,
fucking chin hair.
Whenever there's a professional photographer is always when I'm like I came with wet hair, or it's
Yeah.
like in a bun,
Yeah.
and I'm like
Yeah.
bundled up. I'm always like, not today, not today.
So I don't know if I said this on the podcast on air. Oh, well, I did on different episodes, but I was sick with the flu, and I ended up doing one show where they had a photographer. It was a pretty good show, and I couldn't even like hold myself up. So like the pictures, I'm sweating.
Oh,
I'm sweating.
you're like
You're
having a feverish. Yeah.
Oh my
Jake's-
god, I hate that.
Yeah, and I'm not like, you know, like you call me like a human pinball machine. I'm still and monotone. Like
I've never heard her in this condition before. Like
You
it's
mean
just-
you're much normally you're
more animated.
That's true,
I
but I
mean,
don't
she
think of
has
you as
the flu.
unanimated right now.
she has
No,
the
I'm
flu- I
fine
mean,
now.
She's
This
fine
was-
now.
Okay, okay.
This
This
was
is
when I was
normal.
shooting,
Oh,
the,
got
and
it,
so
got
the,
it,
I
got
got the photos in an email. I was hoping I never see those photos. 'cause
I'd
I
love
didn't
to
wanna
see them.
remember
I'm curious.
I'll pull them out. I'll pull them
I
out.
am curious, actually.
But like, not only, I'll pull it out. But he got the chin, man.
of course,
he
they
got a
always
chin
get the
one.
chin.
Of course.
It's
Uh,
like
they
I'm
always
looking
get
like
the chin.
a
When
wet
I see
dog.
a good
Always.
photo of me on stage, I'm like, it's
I-
one in a million.
You know
I'm
what? I don't want to
so-
be biased, but whenever there's a good photo of me on stage, 90% of the time a woman took that photo.
I hear you. For me, it's always that it's the moment that I'm not speaking.
Or
I
that, yeah.
took
Yeah.
one pause.
Yeah. Well, now I just make it a part of my set. I'm like, oh wait, sorry, the photographer's
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
a photo,
yeah.
and the women
Probably
laugh because
smart.
they understand.
I call it
Yeah.
out too because I hate these. Because they'll post it and it's like
Yeah.
that's on the internet
I-
forever. So
I
it's like
did
we
a show.
have to
Yeah,
we
Go
have to address this shit.
I
yeah.
have photos of me cross-eyed with my tongue out, mouth open, like nostrils wide. I'm like, what part of this did you think was okay to post?
I did
Like,
a show
why?
recently where when a guy got off stage, I was like, I took a cute photo of you on stage, and he was so confused, and I was like, I don't know, only girls care about that. Why did I? He was like, thank you. I was like, I'll post it. He was like, okay.
Well, guys generally like when they take selfies, they take it from the bottom up because it makes them look more powerful and taller. And women usually take it like, and this is some study.
Do
off
men even
Tinder.
know that? They know that
It's
they.
subconscious, I think.
But I think
wow.
also men are stupid and they don't know that we can see their triple chin and their
Yeah.
nose hairs
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they take it from down
Yeah.
there.
I've seen
know?
like guys with professional headshots and nose hairs. It's like really like you can't look in the mirror. Like that's so. The photographer. Where's the photographer? He's a guy. You know he's a guy.
Exactly. You know, we've had issues with male photographers who just don't understand.
Well, I also think part of it is that now everybody takes photos,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's like I feel like everyone's like, yeah, I'm trying to be a professional, and then it's like some dude who just like borrowed a camera.
Yeah, seriously.
He's like,
yeah.
how hard can it be? Click, click. This is how I do a camera. I'm just.
I want to
having
go
a
back
one finger.
to the topic of short men. So,
Oh yes,
So, how do you feel about short men?
I like short men. Most
Yeah.
of my long-term boyfriends have been short.
Define
Yeah.
short for you.
Like 5'6" to 5'10", I think. I've dated a 5'6" guy, 5'7". He said he was 5'7". I think he was 5'6".
The 5'6" guy I dated, he wouldn't even tell anyone how tall he was. He's like, I'm the same height as Tom Cruise.
Oh wow.
Damn.
Well, you're just gonna say that you're Tom Cruise height? Like we all know Tom Cruise
Yeah,
is short. You know,
mine,
like
mine would say
everybody-
5'7", I think.
yeah.
But when I was with him alone, I thought I didn't think he seemed short. Like to me, he seemed tall. It was only when I saw him with other guys that I was like, oh yeah, he's short.
Oh no, I knew he was short because his personality said so. You know,
Ah,
like
okay,
everywhere.
okay.
So like after, I mean, that was like a 3.5 years of my life dedicated to this dude, and then after that, I'm like, you know what? There's a reason Darwinism is a thing, and I'm no longer.
How
dating
long
a-
ago did you date him?
This was like, I hate saying like clues to my age on this podcast, but it was like right out of college.
Okay, okay.
So it was like
That's no clue to your age.
21 to like almost 26.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
at
Some
26
formative years.
formative years. you know?
21 to 26
Twen-
is a long.
Yeah,
that's
like
a long.
22 to 26, and then
yeah.
and then I grew a pair, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm not gonna deal with this personality anymore.
It's funny how you date a specific kind, and
Yeah.
you'll be like, never again,
Yeah.
or something that you like in a person that's random, and you'll be like, always that now.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think that's
Usually, like
strange.
whoever I date's just a reflection of my like mental illness at the time.
Fair
So-
enough.
So it's just like, yeah, I look and I'm just like, because I think like attracts like, and yeah, it's just I don't know.
Water finds its level, whatever that saying
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So
Do
I
you ever
mean,
feel
it's
like
pretty-
after you get out of a relationship, you go for the opposite? I
Oh,
feel like I
yeah.
sometimes do that. I like overcorrect, and
Oh,
then the
yeah.
next person I'm correcting from
The
that,
pendulum
and then
always
the,
swings
yes,
back and
yes.
My
forth.
rebounds are always like the exact opposite
Yes,
of what
yes.
what the dude I'm trying to get over.
Yeah,
you
you'll be like,
know?
that guy was really serious. Now what
Yeah.
I need is a clown.
Yeah, no, I
Then you're
dated
with Bozo for
I
1 month.
dated a short Muslim guy for like 3.5 years, and
That's
then
the same guy.
yeah, same guy, and then right after that, I went for like a 6'2" Jewish guy.
But you're like,
Oh, is
what is
that-
the?
And he hated that shit. And then he went around like bad mouthing me in the Muslim community.
Oh God.
It
Oh, was it a different 6'2" Jewish guy? Because you're with like a super tall.
No,
Jewish...
no. You're saying the.
This is a different.
Okay.
Yeah, this was.
Wait, so the long term boyfriend who was short started bad mouthing you
Oh,
when
yeah.
you went for the tall Jew.
Yeah, typical short guy move.
Well,
you
that's
know?
also how you know
Yeah.
someone's like not over it when they're like, no, like I'm over her, but like she's a bitch.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, well you don't seem over
Yeah,
it.
it's like, like if you're gonna go around telling everybody your business, like maybe you're the one with the
Yes,
problem,
exactly.
you know?
It's such a red flag when a guy
Oh yeah.
says something rude about his ex. I'm always like,
Yeah.
I side with her. I don't
Yeah.
whatever you're saying, I
Yeah,
feel
anytime,
you're the crazy one.
Anytime a guy starts saying, "Oh yeah, my ex was crazy," I just walk away from that.
Truly.
I just totally walk
Truly.
away. I'm like, you clearly don't have any class.
Or they're not able to like
Yeah.
fine if you're like, oh, we're incompatible, whatever,
Yeah.
but to not be able to be accountable for anything, like it was all her. It's like, no, you're a loon.
That's a red flag. That's
Red
a
flag.
hella
Total red flag.
Yeah, but I feel like as I've matured and the pool of men around me has probably matured a little bit, people have a little bit more class when they talk about their
Yeah.
or they don't talk about their history until they're like really probed about it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
still they come at it with more of like a mature angle.
yeah, yeah.
and-
I think that
you
too.
know.
I think it's a red flag when they start telling you too much about
Oh,
their
yes.
history
Oh,
too
yes,
soon. It's
yes.
like,
Oh yeah.
Why do I know names?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, also
yeah.
a sign that I think somebody's like not ready to date if they're like still if somebody else is still on the tip of their tongue.
Mm,
You're
yeah.
like, this seems
Oh my
weird.
gosh.
Yeah. Have you had that happen like on a date? Well, you're single now.
I'm
Amy's
single now. I'm recently single,
Ooh,
actually. And
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yes. And
I mean, it's a garbage fire out here, but you know.
I will say I got out of a 2-year relationship, and I don't feel like I want to jump into another relationship.
do
So I'm
it.
just trying to I need some time to be alone and recover. So I'm just trying to chill.
Yeah.
But I've never gone on any apps before, and I'm like browsing them for the first time, and I'm worried that I'm the person right now who's like gonna go on dates and then be like, I'm actually not ready for anything, and then the person's like, what the fuck?
Girl, live your whole life. Do it.
Why did you
can.
sign
You're
up for
allowed.
this? Why did you drag me here when you're actually not
You
ready
are
to date anyone?
allowed.
But like this is LA. Everyone, no one is ready to date in LA.
I
Even when they
guess.
date, they're not ready to date.
I feel especially unavailable, but I am looking to like have fun and maybe like have some
Oh,
casual
you are gonna
stuff.
do just fine. You're gonna do just fine trying to find that in LA for sure. That's all that there is.
So
out
you've
there.
been dating the same guy for a while?
Yeah, this current guy. Yeah, it'll be 3 years in April.
That's nice.
But we also met on an app. And
Okay.
I mean, before that, I was just like a maniac because I was single for like a good
okay.
6.5 years from New York to LA. Like it was just, and I just couldn't understand why. And it was because like everyone's on the apps now, and now because the app is there, like guys don't really feel, or straight hetero males don't feel the need to commit. Because why? Like,
Interesting.
the next hoe is a swipe away. So like why bother? You know?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that going on. But this guy I met on an app, and he's really great. And I think it's very few and far in between, but there are people out there that are like at a maturity level
Yeah,
and a place in
yeah.
their life where they're like, okay, I want to like, settle down,
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a partner, someone I can like actually.
I
call my
have like a
partner.
nice history of like I am attracted to nice guys.
Yeah.
So I have that. At least I have that. I have other issues,
Have you had
but I
s-
do like nice guys.
Have you had many long-term relationships?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
not many, but I've had like 2 long-term relationships that were like nice.
So you're
Yeah.
more of like a serial monogamous.
Not
type of
even.
girl.
I'm just somebody who like I like a nice guy. I don't
Yeah.
stick around when someone's not treating me well, I think. So I've never I'm sure that and whenever I've gone out with people because I've never used an app before, it's that they already like me. So it's like I've already flirted with them in real life or
Yeah.
they know about me. So what's intimidating to me is the idea of like meeting somebody that I've truly never spoken to. And like, how's their voice gonna sound? All of
you
that.
gotta
is
you gotta
so-
talk to them on the phone.
Oh, really?
First.
Yeah. Because what's so weird
I
to
made
me.
that mistake when I first started online dating, like a decade ago. It's so like, we're just such a text heavy, message heavy culture now where there's so much screening you could do if you just hear the person's
Yes,
voice.
because the idea, I'm very
Yeah.
into voice, watching them like gesture in the world.
Yeah.
It's just weird the idea of somebody walking in and being like, oh, damn, I had no idea what you looked or sounded
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
So I just got on the apps myself, and I barely.
And when I
use
say
them.
got on them, yes, I've like barely looked at them, but I'm open to it. I'm going to start.
I haven't gone on one date from the apps.
Yeah, a lot of them pen pal, and they kind of gauge like how down like DTF you are, and if they don't think it's gonna be easy, they kind of just like put you in the I'll entertain this bucket.
I mean, I think a lot of it is my unavailability.
Oh, yeah,
That
and
too.
stand-up makes everything so hard because you're
Yeah.
like, I'm available one night between 5 and 7.
But like, not even it doesn't even get that far because I just like I haven't checked the apps in like half a year, and like I haven't gotten back to anything.
Yeah, I
It's-
mean,
it's-
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about algorithms because of Instagram, but yeah, every dating app has an algorithm, and it's really like if you're a frequent user, you're gonna get like better matches and stuff like that. So it's really like
well, also,
how you're using it.
isn't that just a sign that you're like it's not something you're looking for right now?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you don't
Yeah.
have to.
It feels
Nothing meant for
tedious.
you will pass you by.
Yeah.
I started meditating.
Oh,
I like that. Nothing meant for you will pass you by.
Yeah, if it's meant for you, like even if it involves going on apps, it's like if it sounds
Yeah.
tedious, then you don't do it. And once it doesn't sound tedious, because I'm in that same place, it sounds a little tedious, and I'm like, I don't need to force myself
Yeah.
if it's not like sounding fun.
And I just like I don't know. I tend to meet people in real life,
Yes, yeah.
but like,
Cursed with meeting men in real life
but then that ends up like you
I always
shit where you
say.
eat. So like,
because they're like comedy guys.
I
Or
mean,
they're like
they're
pro
in the
boxers and
industry.
stuff. This girl meet. I'm like, where
Boxers.
I never
Oh,
meet
yeah.
these people.
I always meet like improv sketch guys.
But
like
that was at a
shows.
comedy show. That was at a
See,
comedy show.
I
That
never
was an
get
audience
introduced
member.
to these cool people.
All of my serious boyfriends have been like unemployed improvisers.
Who are generally nice men.
Generally
yeah, they are
nice.
nice
Generally
guys. They
nice.
are.
Yeah.
They
Very
are.
supportive.
You know,
Great audience
Yes.
members
and
also.
they yes and you. You know,
They yes
probably in real
and.
life,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, they're nice
like,
guys.
You're like, can I get some
Yeah,
water?
yeah.
They're like, yeah, you want ice with that?
They're
Do they
employed, but
yes
they're not
and during
boxers.
sex?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I went into a weird place there. You were like, "Did they yes and during sex?"
Was that
And I
too
had
much?
like a 1,000-mile stare. No, it was me going into
She's
a weird
thinking
place.
about that.
Not you. Yeah, I was like, yeah. It's been a while for me.
Aw.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm like wondering how intimate to get on the app. I mean the
Oh, yeah.
pod.
If you're not, that's
No, not
Oh,
for me. It's for you guys.
Talk about everything
yeah,
in this
I-
podcast.
I
Yeah.
teach at a college
Okay.
as like one of my day jobs, and I
You're a
teach-
professor?
Yeah, I teach at
Oh,
USC.
so you probably can't get too.
No.
like-
I was gonna say, my students all know that I always say the first day I'm a writer and a comedian who also teaches, and it's like not a secret. But my students will always be like, I listen to you on this podcast, and it's like podcast where I am so filthy and just talking about like using an anal vibrator on somebody, and they'll be like, I listen to your podcast, and I'm like, this is so humiliating.
Oh, yeah.
One of
yeah.
my students was like, I had a set on Comedy Central, and my student was like, if I memorize the entire set and do it for the class, can I get extra credit? And I was like, it would be so funny, to film, but it would be so inappropriate. It's also
my
such a
God.
dirty set. I was like, I would like you to, but you may not. I have to.
Aw.
Anyway, I've slept with one person since my relationship ended in September. So, it's been like 3 months and I've slept with one
Do we
person.
need to get you a battery operated device?
No,
Are
I
you
got
okay?
one.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
good masturbator.
Okay, that's great.
good.
I got a vibrator. It's almost too much for me. I spent 30 years without one. I don't need. It's like
Ye-
too much stimulation.
Yeah, it's a transition.
And
Yeah.
you make it
for sure.
desensitized also. 'cause
Yes,
once
I
you
find
start
it like
using that,
painful, kind
like,
of.
But like if you get used to that, can you go back to the finger?
I mean, I'm pretty good at it. I do think that what I need is one that I can make the vibration go down. It's like.
Oh yeah, they come in all like you can adjust.
Yeah,
you know,
I have a
speeds
cheap
and
one,
stuff.
and
Oh,
it's like there
yeah.
only is one like very
Yeah.
high speed. Anyway, to all my
Um,
students listening to this,
Wait,
don't-
so what's the course that you teach?
I teach creative writing and literature. This semester I'm teaching, it's called Literature and Emotional Intelligence. I'm like teaching
Wow.
under someone, so it's like his syllabus, but
Well, I want to
it's
take
funky.
that.
Yeah,
That
it's like
sounds
cool.
pretty
yeah.
cool.
It kind of encapsulates everything. it's just like all novels are about emotion.
Is this undergrad?
It's all undergrad, and it's like I normally teach like either creative writing or literature for non-majors. So it's like there are a lot of business majors, a lot of football players, all that. I know some of them are.
They're undergrad. Ugh, they have their whole life ahead of them.
They have their whole life,
Yeah.
but often they're like I forget that time of people's life. Like I was pretty depressed in college. I was so much happier after college. I went to a big party school. I was like in a sorority, and I'm still like friends with a lot of girls
Where'd
at that
you go to
time.
school?
UC Santa Barbara.
Okay, yeah, that's a party school.
But I was unhappy. It was like I felt like my life hadn't started yet. It wasn't until after college that I started like writing and doing stand up and everything that I wanted to do.
Is it because like the party just doesn't end?
I
So
think
you're
for
just, like, in
me,
this
I think I just
whirlwind, or
needed like a liberal arts school, but I
Uh-huh.
went to a big public high school that like funneled everybody into the
into different
UCs.
state schools.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. I didn't know what a liberal arts school was. And my parents were like hands off. They were like,
Yeah.
whatever. I think I was drinking too much and not doing all the things that I wanted to do, but knew I wanted to do. I was like waiting for my life to start, and it kind of did after. And I talked to my students about that because I think many of them feel the pressure that this needs to be the best time of their lives, and it isn't. It's like they're often like depressed and anxious and are going through things, and I forget that time of life is like really heightened, and they're all so fucking angsty. They're all like
there is a lot of pressure.
like there's
In a way, it's a
angst
little,
in high school too, but in college different, I think.
it's a little depressing when you think of a period of time early in your life being the best time of your life.
Yes, I
That's a
think
little
that's
depressing.
stressful. It's a
Because-
weird liminal space, it's like they're out of their they're out of their parents' home, but they haven't like
Well, you don't
become
want
adults.
to. The idea of peaking that young, it's disconcerting. Like I'd rather have it get better as I get
Yeah.
older.
Oh
like,
yeah. When people are like this is supposed to be the most fun time of your life, I was like,
Yeah.
no, thank you. I'm in this like, I live in a triple with like I'm here. My roommates have sex every night.
I mean, that time of my life was fun, but I feel like I've had so many amazing experiences
yeah.
since then, and I feel like even now, I feel like maybe I am living the best time of my life
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Like I definitely enjoy my happy moments now more than I ever enjoyed happy moments in the past.
I feel like doing what you
So.
feel like you were meant to do,
Mhm.
even when you're stressed out, is like to me the key to happiness. It's like
Yeah.
even when I'm like strained for money or like worrying that I'm not doing enough in like stand up or writing, whatever. It's like better than the alternative, which would be
Yeah.
not doing what selling insurance. I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But yeah, like if you're not built for that shit can be so depressing.
yeah.
That can be like, when I first moved to LA, I had like a day job, and it was awful. Like I used to just have fantasies of getting into a car accident on the way to work.
Oh man.
And I wasn't the only one in the office
Yeah,
who
yeah.
felt that way. There was another chick in the office who felt exactly.
This
I don't know
was-
why I said chick.
This was the
'Cause I don't
job.
even talk like
this
that.
broad.
Yeah,
This
this
was
bitch.
this was the one where like your boss threw a stapler at you, right?
Yeah, it was a
So,
really sort
yeah,
of
it was a
abusive
toxic
situation.
environment.
I've talked to so many people in those was it like an assistant job.
Yeah, it was
who
an
have been in
assistant
jobs
job.
like that where I'm just like, people are insane.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even very successful at the time, so it was just.
Is he successful
He
now?
was short though.
Napoleon, an old
Yeah.
Napoleon.
Oh my gosh.
And one time I remember, like, when I had one foot out the door, I was he was interviewing people to replace me, so I didn't give a shit. Like, I think I gave him a look, like, it slipped because you had to keep your composure around him. He would nitpick at everything, so I gave him a look like he's fucking stupid.
Imagine
And
being married to that guy.
I know someone who is. There was a girl in the office who was my friend.
She married
She lied
him?
about her age, and she married him despite seeing how he treated everyone who's ever worked for him.
Why?
including-
And
her?
she's so nice. I don't know what their personal relationship is. I actually got invited to the wedding a week before the wedding because they saw a picture I posted on Facebook, and she sent me their registry. She's like, let me know if you can come to our wedding. It's in 2 weeks. Here's our registry.
Oh my god.
Everyone else probably got invitations, so it was just like some last like.
You think she saw you on Facebook and she was just like, oh, I remember
totally
her.
forgot to invite her.
I mean, I wouldn't have expected to be invited to the wedding
Right,
because it had been so many years.
Right.
And there's no bad blood. Like I don't. You
Yeah,
know,
you were just like, it was a shitty assistant job.
yeah.
Does he have money? Like what?
Maybe now. I don't know. At
Okay.
the time. At the
Ugh.
time, I don't.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Well,
this
I'm glad
was
you got-
10 years ago.
Yeah.
You
I'm
got
glad
out of there.
I'm
10
glad.
plus years.
Yeah.
I'm an old bitch.
What are some?
I'm a young. No, I don't want to say that. I'm young because this is the youngest I'll ever be.
True.
And you're wiser than you were.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes, very much so.
Wait, what are the worst jobs that you've had to endure?
Oh man, I did a podcast about this actually not that long ago. The worst jobs. I've had so many shitty writing jobs. I have worked for magazines where I was like, unbeknownst to me, the only writer on the magazine.
Oh my god.
One of them was called the Franchise Herald, and it's just a magazine about franchises. So it would be like the articles would be things like, "Hello, Olive Garden franchisees, more like everybody who owns an Olive Garden franchise," and it would be like, "There are more breadsticks coming," like stuff like that. Just so mind numbing.
Did you have to like research stuff?
Yes.
Or wow.
I was researching constantly. I had to churn out so many magazines and websites where you just have to churn out content.
Oh my gosh.
What's one of your worst jobs?
The worst jobs? I don't know. I feel like the job I have now, my jobs are like project based, and sometimes I'll just get put on an awful project. So like I work, like I'm essentially an efficiency expert. Like I come in.
Ooh.
This does not work in my real life. It only works in corporate life where they'll hire the company I work for, and then my company sends me in to like work with an executive to like solve one of their problems or manage one of their projects because they don't have resources to do it or whatever. And then these executives always have an ego, and they think they know everything, and they think they know what's wrong with their departments, and then they treat you like, because you're technically not their employee,
Right.
So they basically treat you worse than they treat their employees, you know, and they're like, no, I don't believe I'm losing this much money every day. Why do you think I'm losing that much money every day? I'm like, I don't know, because I ran the numbers.
You're like, I'm trying to help you too.
Yeah.
Isn't it like to make you more efficient?
like,
Didn't you hire me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, well, I don't believe you. And
you're
I'm
like, okay.
"Oh, okay, you don't need to, but here's your number.
Damn, you're like the prophet.
Yeah. I'm like, no.
You're like Marcus Aurelius coming in.
But a lot of times, like, people, and, you know, whenever someone like me comes in, it's like, have you ever seen Office Space?
Yes.
Remember the Bobs?
Long ago, but yes.
Do you remember the Bobs? Like, the Bobs come in, and people think they're getting fired. So
Yeah,
I'm a Bob.
So people are like, oh no,
Yeah,
she's going to give us bad news.
So then, like, I'm trying to, like, work with these people to find out what's going wrong, and then they're, like, stuffing me in closets and not telling me what's going on.
Oh, your office closet?
Yeah.
And people are like, what's she doing here?
Yeah.
If one of us getting fired.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of been, like, 10 years of my life, really, just, like, from one project to another. But it pays the bills.
Are you trying to get out of it, or are you just sort of chilling?
I mean, I'm trying to transition, but at the same time, like, the company I work for, they've become more and more supportive of comedy.
Yeah.
And they, like, let me take off Fridays if I need to go on the road.
Right.
Or, like, I can work remotely if we're, like, in New York or wherever. So it's, like, it's, like, manageable right now. But during pilot season, it's, like, sometimes if I have an audition at 3 p.m., and then I'm presenting to a CFO at 3 p.m., it's like, oh, fuck. I guess I'm not going on this audition today, you know? So it's, at some point, I'm really just going to have to, like, figure out where the crossroad is and, like, decide, what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It might be this year. It might be next year. I don't know.
It's
I don't
such
know
a
what it's gonna be.
demanding job.
It is it's like a grown-up job, which is, like, I can't just, like, tell.
It's a career.
It is a career. It was a career. Many people make a career out of it, you know? And I've kind of like, my friends who I started this with, like, they're, like, almost partners or they're about to become executives, where it's, like, when I started comedy, I'm just, like, at 6 p.m., I'm like, all right, bye, guys.
You were already working this job when you started doing stand-up?
Yeah, so now
Got
it's,
it.
like, my career has kind of been stagnant for, like, the last few years since, like, comedy's kind of been on this upswing. So it's, like, I'm seeing everybody.
I'm sure comedy's the thing that you're passionate about anyway.
Of course. So it's, like, I have this grown-up job. All my friends have, like, you know, they're all, like, executives now, like, you know, buying these, like, multi-million-dollar houses, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, so now I got to figure out, like, do I want to chase the like, do I really want to do the comedy thing?
Right.
You know, or do I want to, like, you know.
Like, do I need to make some big change?
Like,
or
what do I need to do to, like, figure out a way where I'm going to be happy?
Yeah.
And, you know.
It's an exciting time.
It's
As
an
my
exciting
therapist
time.
would say when I'm like, I'm stressed out. My therapist would be like, what? Barbara, Canadian. I love her. I keep referring her to comedians, which is bizarre.
I wonder if there's overlap in the stories.
I don't. Megan Gailey
Like,
just
if
told
you
me that
guys-
she was gonna go see Barbara, and I was like, honestly referred her to so many people.
Oh my God.
Anyway, she's always like, what would
Is
it
she
be
like,
like?
just the resident comedian?
No, I mean,
therapist?
she has so little availability. I used to have a not good therapist who was always just like, text me whenever, and like, you can come
Yeah.
see me. And I didn't know how weird that was until I got a good therapist. Now I'm like, oh,
You have an appointment.
yes,
standing
and she
appointment.
doesn't have that many of it. She doesn't have any extra slots. If I can't come, she charges me. If I didn't,
And this is
you know,
a Canadian woman.
this is a Canadian
Is
woman,
it just
Barbara.
me, or have Canadians figured out life better than Americans?
I mean, I love Barbara. She's very
Barbara, the therapist, fucking Ryan Reynolds, Drake, and Justin Bieber, like all
Yeah.
these Canadians come in here.
Oh,
Just
They're doing all
Yeah.
right.
They figured it out.
Yeah.
They figured out America better than we
Yeah.
did.
Anyway,
Like,
Barbara's always like, what would it be like for you to not be so anxious about what's going to happen in the future, and for you to and I'm always like, if I knew that, why would I be here? You tell me what that would be like.
And she makes you.
Yeah, she's
Figure-
I don't know. She's more just like, but just,
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know.
yeah.
Good or bad, who can tell?
I've been going to the same therapist for like 7 years now.
Damn.
Is she Barbara?
It's a
as well?
dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a dude.
I always wonder about seeing
It's
a
Barbara
guy.
and drag. At the time, I was more comfortable. This was like a while ago, 7, 8 years ago. So
Mhm.
at the time, I was a very different person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was looking for a guy. But now it's become more challenging because there's certain things now, like I want to be more open, and it's uncomfortable to talk to him about that stuff. But also that in itself is part of the
Working
work.
through it. I know. I think about seeing a guy because I have like dad issues, but I like seeing a woman because I've always felt close to my mom. I think, and
Yeah.
it's easier for me to open up to a woman.
So the challenge in itself, I think, is
Yeah, yeah.
is part of the work I'm doing in there. But
You like him? You think he's good?
yeah, he's really he's a really nice guy, sort of like yeah, I mean I've stuck around, but then also it's just like, well, should I be
It's hard to imagine telling somebody new the whole history of your life.
exactly, it's like I don't want to start over.
Yeah, yeah.
But also it's just like I see that it has helped me a lot. So as much of a, mess I am now, it's just like imagine that like tenfold.
I don't think
I
of
mean,
you as a mess.
No,
Yeah,
you're not a
thank you.
mess.
Thank you.
As much as other people try to tell you that you are.
People, yeah,
Do other people tell you that you're a mess?
yeah, I mean,
I think only when they're mad at her.
Well, in 2020, a thing I'm trying to do is be less self-deprecating. I will say, because I
Yeah.
feel like women are always just like, I'm so, I'm deranged, I'm crazy.
I have a lot of demons.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I've also like worked through a lot of shit. So
Yeah.
the thing is like because I've had a lot of issues, it's actually pushed me to a place where I have to get my shit together.
yeah, yeah.
But it's still like, you can, like, I don't know, like my mood changes minute by minute. Like it's like ask me how I'm feeling. It's just like, well, hold on, I'm shifting between like something. It's
Human
a lot.
pinball.
Oh,
I-
that's what you
That's-
meant. Okay, now I get it.
I have an inhaler.
I forgot that there was a. I
There's
haven't
a
been
camera.
paying
I'm an
attention at all.
asthmatic smoker.
The
They're
camera
not-
isn't actually. It's always been there. The table shifted.
Oh,
Is
well,
that what
listen,
happened
my
today?
profile
Yeah,
isn't great,
okay.
but
Should we
as
move
we
the
were talking
water?
You
about
do.
angles.
You do have a great side profile.
Thank you
Yeah,
for saying that.
yeah,
I
it's
feel
wonderful.
that it's.
I do not. I'm a good
Yeah, you
3/4.
do.
No, I don't.
What are you talking about?
Girl, we were just talking about my little chin.
I feel
Not
you guys are
big
both
enough to
beautiful.
hide-
I'm happy to.
Aw.
I'm just happy to be here.
Oh, well, we like you.
Now we're all on a date. We're
Yeah.
polyamorous. I don't know what
Which
any of
is
the
something
terms
I'm
are.
getting more into.
Oh, are you?
Well-
I'm monogamous, despite I like the idea of threesomes, whatever, but it's like just not for me. And now
Yeah.
I feel like I'm 30, and it's the time's passed for me. It's like moving to New York. You have to be very young or very rich. I can't ever have a threesome now, I feel. Or it would have to be just like a wild night where I drank too much, which happens so infrequently now that I'm
Yeah.
30. I can't imagine ever having like a boyfriend that I did that with.
Yeah, I would imagine like if you're already in a relationship, it's probably something I would consider like 10, 15 years into the relationship
Yeah.
just to like try something new.
I think I'm just I'm a monogamous person despite being like, I'd love to like try being with a woman, all that stuff. It's just like, I never seem to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading up about like on this a lot because like so many guys for when I was single were like, how do you feel about polyamory? That's like the third question they would
Really?
ask on the dating apps. And it's like, let me look more into this. And I mean, there is some science behind it. Like primates aren't really known to be monogamous.
Right.
And,
And
stuff.
we're
So, like,
evolving in a way that we might not need that in the same way.
yeah. And so it's like, okay, fine. I understand. This is why men cheat. This is why, like, you know, women get bored after like a few years and stuff. So I get it. But at the same time, like, maybe we're kind of using it too much as an excuse to not commit or get to know.
Right.
Really get to know and, like, emotionally commit to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, that absolutely could be true for me. I have intimacy issues.
Are you thinking lately that you're like, maybe that's something I could try, like some permutation of that or something?
I've had a long-term relationship.
No, I meant a version of polyamory.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm kind of doing it now. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's sort of like, it's very evolving, but there's like different people and I don't know what I'm doing, but it's like, and sometimes, yeah, I'm fucking.
I'm just laughing because of how you're gesturing, like they're here.
Yeah, I mean, like
they're gonna come out from behind the curtain.
That's so funny you said that because like I was just sort of processing like, oh shit, like anyone could listen to this.
Right.
shit. Like, they could
Yeah,
listen
did they
to
all
this.
know that there's more than them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't have a boyfriend,
Right.
So it's either assumed, but like we've had conversations. So,
But also, if like someone is not into it, or if they want to be like the only one, then they kind of have to like bring more to the table, right?
Exactly.
Because isn't polyamory about like being with multiple people who provide you things or fulfill something?
I don't know all
for
that
you?
much about it, but I know that like it's very different than swinging,
yeah,
and that they
Yeah.
don't like getting confused with each other because
Yeah.
for swinger, I know a swinger, and
Yeah.
he's very adamant about being like swingers are we only have an intimate relationship with each other, and then we go out and sleep with other people, but we don't want any emotional intimacy with those people.
Right.
Whereas polyamory is way more like this is my girlfriend and this is my girlfriend. Like I have intimate relationships
more
with both of
community
them.
oriented.
Yeah, and it's just I think more it's like one's just about sex and the other one's like about emotional stuff.
And sex.
And sex. Yeah. It
Yeah.
seems to me. I mean, I'm sure there's a million different versions and,
Yeah.
Well,
Don't
not
at
always
me.
about sex, actually, because there is someone I do consider a partner who I was in a long-term relationship with for years, but we stayed in touch and stayed very close. And we call each other friends, but like, it's a fucking relationship.
yeah.
So it's like there's, weekly sleepovers and we talk all the time. We're each other's emergency contacts.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like a family thing. But like, I don't know, maybe it's Madonna whore, but like I can't fuck him anymore.
I mean, I
love
had
him
that
too much.
just with,
I
like,
don't want to ruin my precious.
Maybe you need to separate.
I had that with just an ex-boyfriend I was having trouble breaking up with, and I was just
Yeah.
like stringing him along and having sleepovers, but not sleeping with him. So I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
know. Sorry.
it's a lot. I think like I don't know. I feel like relationships have transformed so much, and there's so many different types of relationships you could have with people. Where now it's like I feel like maybe the pressure is off for people to be like, available in every capacity for their partner. And maybe that's why like people don't feel the need to have one partner. Maybe people can have multiple partners.
Right, or that one person
know?
shouldn't need to provide you with every
Yeah.
thing that you're looking
Which
for.
is why we're all in therapy working on making ourselves whole. So we're
Right,
enough
right,
for ourselves,
right.
Yes,
Totally.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
maybe
key.
that's why polyamory is on the rise because like none of us are fucking whole people,
I was just
but
talking to
don't
my
know.
therapist about how like I always have this idea of myself as being great at being alone. Like I haven't been in that many serious relationships. I've been single for long periods of time. And then when we were like getting into it, like into the nitty gritty, I was like, oh, I always have some guy that's like either waiting in the wings or that I have dated, but that I still kind of see. And I was like, maybe I'm so not as good at being alone as I like to think. And so this is why the first time I'm like trying to really be by myself.
But you know there's always going to be the friend zone of dudes that are just kind of like
Exactly, but I mean, like,
looming,
not like
someone you have
using
an
them to
intrigue with.
fill, like, not wanting to be by myself, you know, like listening to my own thoughts or, you know, I feel like it's the same as like when you get home and you have to like turn on a podcast immediately or like, so you don't have to be alone with it's almost like that. It's like, I live alone and I'm like, I'm great at being alone. And then I'm like, am I, when I'm always like,
no, I always have a podcast or the TV or something.
or like
something's on.
I'm using it as a
relative.
metaphor too for like, or a guy who's like sort of waiting, you know, I'm like, can I really be by, maybe this is the meditation thing too. Anyway, what were we going to say?
I was just going to say it's relative because I think humans are social. It's all a spectrum. So it's like, yeah, you're going to have moments where you do crave company sometimes. But like, there's some people who are very codependent and are like talking to their partners all day on FaceTime or something. So it's just, you know, and they might know someone who's even more like stuck on something. So it's like,
and it's whatever's right for you, definitely. I think I would just like to be, make sure that I can be good alone before I like jump into something else.
That's wise. That's very wise.
Look at me, 2020. With Barbara, my Canadian therapist. Really
Shout out
giving
to
her
Barbara.
really advertising her.
How long have you been in therapy for?
I was in therapy briefly, like 5 years ago, and she wasn't very good. But I thought you know, I didn't have any pressing issues other than I was like, I feel anxious, and I think she helped at least. I'd never like talked to someone who wasn't my family or friends. And then I kept like trying a few out, and this is the first person I've been seeing consistently for like not that long, 9 months, a year.
But still, that's solid.
Months.
That is pretty consistent.
Yeah, sometimes I don't see her consistently, but I'm trying like at least every other week.
Yeah.
What I guess what caused you to try therapy?
You know, I wanted to get out of my relationship, I think, and or I was unhappy in my relationship, even though he's a great guy and we're still friendly. And he was really into therapy and saw one, and I was just like, oh, I gotta get into it too. And one of those like really good guys that you couldn't quite figure out why you're unhappy, and she definitely helped me. Like, I mean, now the reasons are obvious, but I think when you're in it, you're sort of like, why is this not working? Why is this not working?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all had those.
I think it's probably a guy situation that, well, cause I used to go to like sex and love addict meetings because I feel because I really did use stuff outside of myself to fill whatever void,
give you some validation.
Yeah, so at one point I think it became out of control in that area of my life. So I think that's probably what got me to therapy.
Yeah, for me it was a
Are
heartbreak.
you in therapy currently?
Not right now. I was for like 6 months. I just, for some reason, since I moved to LA, I haven't really found a therapist that I like.
It takes a lot of work.
It really
you have to like
does.
date them.
You have to date them, and also like,
Barbara.
you know, with insurance and everything else, it's like I feel like therapists are just ripping us off.
Oh, I mean,
you know?
I can only afford to see her every other week, which
Yeah,
like sucks.
That's the thing.
You know?
Yeah, the healthcare system's completely broken. So
yeah, and nobody takes, you know, I mean, we talk about this, and it's very much in the ether right now. Like nobody, the medical community, insurance, like just the world does not take mental illness or mental health as seriously as like physical health or dental health or anything like that. So it's like, well, when are we actually going to treat this? And like have it like be available,
right?
You know, and treat it like it's, you know, an actual disease.
Right.
Well, the problem with the U.S. is they're not even treating stuff they consider real diseases. So people are just fucking dying for no reason because they don't have insurance.
Yeah, it's so wild.
So it's like that's the whole like I don't even. It's kind of. I try to be more optimistic, but as someone who was sick for 2 fucking weeks and it like could not get a doctor's appointment, like I don't see them doling out mental health resources to people.
Yeah, well, I think in cities like LA and New York and some of these big cities, it's like there's always people with a bigger problem that need to be treated, and there's like a lack of health care available. So it's like,
and everything's so.
You have the flu?
Expensive.
Fuck you. Someone's dying. Like, so there's always somebody dying or always someone with, you know, a serious disease. So I had to handle, like, even with, like, legal issues or crimes or something, like, I had to help my sister out because someone stole her laptop. Someone like these friends of friends were helping her move, and one of these idiots stole her laptop.
A friend was helping her move?
A friend of a friend was helping her move, and one of
evil.
them stole her laptop. And she was in denial. She's like, I don't know what happened. I was like, all right, well, who was helping you move? And she's like, this person, this person, this person. And I happen to know these people. So,
Really?
you know, I called, I'll tell you offline.
Yeah.
But yeah, I called LAPD, and it was also like this weird area where it was like the border of West Hollywood too. So I called the West Hollywood police, and like no one's trying to like, oh yeah, we don't handle we don't handle petty theft. We don't handle that. We don't handle that. Luckily,
Dude.
the sheriff was driving by my apartment, so I like waved. I'm like, officer, I have an issue. Can you help me?
Damn.
And he like gave me his card, and he's like, okay, well, let me know the situation. Like, once you. So I know where this guy lives. So I was basically like, hey, officer, I think this guy stole my sister's laptop. I'm gonna go to his apartment. But I feel like it would be easier if I had, you know, like this is a crime. He stole her laptop.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, call me, and I will be there. Like it's
Nice.
7 blocks away.
Damn.
So I go over
The
there.
one time a cop's there when you need him.
Oh my god, it was like
and not there when you don't want
it
him.
was like serendipity. I don't know. So like literally I'm on the phone for an hour with LAPD, WeHo PD. Like no one's like, we don't handle that. I'm like, well, who handles this stuff?
Yeah.
Like this is, you know, so I have to handle it, and I'm doing like vigilante bullshit. Like I don't know what's going on. But I get outside the apartment, and he had changed. This guy is shady as fuck.
I mean, anyone who steals a person's laptop, they're helping move.
Yeah. So like he changed his phone number. I got his like new phone number from somebody else. And he's like, I'm like, where are you, dude? Like, I know you have my sister's laptop. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm literally, I could hear him. I could hear him talking to me on the phone. And I'm like outside the apartment building.
Oh, he's acting like he doesn't live.
Yeah, he's
where
like,
he
yeah, I
lives?
don't know. He has a Wisconsin number now or something. I'm like, I'm in Wisconsin, dude. Like, I don't know. Where do you even get this number? I'm like, bro, I can hear you. I'm literally outside your building.
Damn.
And if you don't come outside with my sister's MacBook, I have the sheriff's card. I sent him a picture of the sheriff's business card. I'm like, get me the fucking laptop.
Yeah.
And like literally 2 minutes later, like some other dude, I don't know whose apartment this guy was at or whatever, like some dude I don't even know comes out with my sister's pink MacBook Pro. And I'm like, what? This is
Probably
why
his friend was like, I don't want the cops coming here,
Yeah.
like seeing my weed or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Whatever
But it's
was
like,
illegal at the
hold
time.
on. Like, there was like a legit theft of like a $3,000 laptop. And I had to handle this situation because LAPD and WeHo PD can't be bothered. So I mean, it's a real thing. Like,
yeah, my car got broken into in Hollywood, and a cop drove by, and I'm like, this is the first time my car window got busted. So, and I'm younger, and I was like freaking out. I was like, can you do something? He's like, I'm chasing a murderer, and he just drove off.
yeah, but it's like there's real crimes happening.
You're like, can you ask the murderer if he broke my window?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
get to him?
Yeah, unless there's like it kind of feels like anarchy. Like it really does.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, with the homelessness population, like all this other shit that's going on in this town.
I know.
Like I think we're all on our own, honestly.
I know, it's
Healthcare,
scary.
crime, like
know.
all of it. It
Is your
feels like
sister
Gotham.
younger?
She's a few years younger.
Gotham?
We're in Gotham, man. We need Batman.
All
Like,
right, that's the name of the episode.
I had to play Batgirl, and I was like, "What is?" I was literally shaking because I'm like livid. I'm like, I don't know if these guys are gonna come beat me up because I'm also like not even 5'1". Like I don't know what they're gonna do. You know,
You're like,
so-
oh, I have the cop's card, so I
like-
guess if I'm being murdered,
I'm
I'll
like,
try to give him a call.
all I have is the sheriff's
Yeah.
business card.
It seemed to work though, like spooked him.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, luckily, like the great thing about being comics is that we know how to use words.
yeah.
So I guess like in this like way it worked where I was able to threaten someone, but like it's crazy that like
yeah.
no one can be bothered. No, like
No.
nobody. You know, forget
I
it.
know, and then it's like when you try to get to the root of the problem. I always talk about this with my students. Where I'll be like, "What do you guys think we could do about the homeless problem?" Is like, stuff for their assignments when I'm like trying to fill time. When I'm not doing stuff like highs and lows or other bullshit, like actually try to solve a problem. And it's so hard because it's like if you try to, it's like a boat that's sinking, and when you plug one hole, other holes open.
Yeah.
They're like, well, if we
Yeah.
did this, then what about like? if we solve this problem with homelessness, what do we do about mental illness? And then if we
Yeah.
do mental illness, what do we do about addiction? If we do addiction, what do we do about taxing? And if what do we,
But the
it's
thing
so
is,
tricky.
I think it all funnels back to mental health.
Yeah. I mean, it
So
certainly seems that way.
You treat it at the root, and then maybe everything else will fall more into place.
But it seems like we got to go back to. I mean, I guess I was gonna say we have to change our whole economic system, which is what we're trying to do. Well, Bernie 2020, what year are we going
Oh
into?
man, somebody 2020. Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
let's figure it out, people. I'm so tired.
I know.
I'm so
I
tired.
know. It really does feel. It's like sometimes I feel optimistic and sometimes I feel really hopeless. It's sort of like a pendulum.
I mean, I feel optimistic because like the younger millennials and Gen Z,
Right.
but I feel like we're not empowered. We're a little apathetic, a little, and I feel like we don't control the infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it's hard to. It's hard to
Gotham.
picture.
with Gotham. So I feel like it's going to take a generation. For
one generation, you're optimistic.
Well, it's gonna take one dying out and
Well,
there's
I
a new
mean,
one coming in.
the boomers are starting to die now,
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time. We'll see what Gen X is doing. I mean, Gen X, like these people like Yang and Barack and all these guys, like these guys are Gen X, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to change the world,
Yeah.
but like the boomers aren't really letting them. So it's like we gotta. I think the
Yeah,
boomers
yeah,
just got to start dying out or just get too old, and then eventually.
Be
That's
senile.
nature's way. It's
Yeah.
just like, I think Steve Jobs gave a speech at some graduation, some school graduation about like how like old, like people are supposed to die and make room for like new people, new ideas. Cause
New innovation, new ways of thinking. So
most people
We'll
aren't
see.
very like, well, I don't want to generalize, but like people become, I think, less open-minded as we get older and older.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think people are really worried about being like irrelevant and yeah. I mean, I see that in like older people, but I feel that sometimes. I'm like, can't believe I'm 30. I like don't.
Yeah.
I feel
Feel
really
30.
irrelevant sometimes. Like I joined TikTok just to see what the kids are doing,
Just
and I'm
to
like,
scope it.
I don't understand this. I mean, it's fun, it's cute, I like it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like, why are you guys dancing in the middle of a mall? Like,
I know.
I don't
So
understand.
weird.
It's fun. I could get on board, but if I go to a random park and start dancing, like I think someone will call the police on
Yeah,
me. Like I don't
yeah.
know. But then the police won't come, so I guess I'm good. Like,
Well, I think
just
that's
don't-
also what's so weird about the internet is like the different enclaves of like people where
Yeah.
you're just like, who even knew? Like I like Reddit. And
I
it's
like
just like
Reddit.
so
It's fun.
bizarre.
It
And
is
it's like,
really
who
bizarre.
are these people who get really into this one subject? Like you can search anything, and there's a
people
whole
who live in their mom's
community
basements.
of people. Yeah, and me, an incel, being
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
uh,
But
good.
I feel like a lot of Reddit and Twitter and all this stuff, it's there's like cancel culture
Yeah.
and just like outrage for the sake of being outraged. It's all these people
What
who
about
are
the generation after us?
what is
They're-
the generation?
Gen Z.
Gen Z. They're
Yeah.
kind of a little wound up, right?
They are. I had to perform in front of like a bunch of like 22-year-olds last night, and they're considered Gen Z. And it was,
Oh, that's Gen Z.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah,
Gen
yeah.
Z
Yeah,
is
my
like
students.
students.
Yeah.
they're your students are
Yeah,
Gen Z. So they're, and it's like I do this whole bit where I make fun of 20-year-old women.
Mm-hmm.
I just like I call them hoes
Mm-hmm.
because it's like your time to live your whole life.
Yeah.
And they're all like, I can't believe she's calling me a hoe. Like I can do whatever I want. Like I'm
Yeah.
allowed to have sex with whoever I want.
And you're like, I'm not saying that.
I'm like, that's not my point. It's like
yeah.
so there's a lot of people that are like, waiting to hear these buzzwords to
Yeah.
be offended, and then they're
Yeah.
like, all right, I've turned my brain off now. Like,
A
It's
college
just-
professor was
yeah.
telling me I did stand up at Colgate University. It's like a liberal
In
arts school in
upstate?
upstate New
Yeah,
York.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And this college professor was telling me, who teaches a literature course, that the students were so upset about, I can't remember what the book was, but it's a true classic,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
piece of literature, from the 1800s, something like
Yeah.
that. And they were upset with the content because it struck them as, I forget what, racist, sexist, whatever. But it was so strange and disturbing to me, this idea that they'll miss like a part of historic literature because now it is offensive in
they wanted
Yeah.
to take
context.
it off.
Yes, they wanted to take it off the syllabus.
yeah, it's
And the woman teaching it is like, this brilliant PhD in this particular subject, and they were like, we don't like how it portrays queer people, something like that, and it was just such a tricky situation for her because she's like trying to respect their feelings and their boundaries, but also doesn't want to take something off the syllabus that she feels like is an important part of like the history of literature. And I forget all the details, what the course was and what the book was, but I remember just thinking, damn, like what an interesting time right now.
Yeah. That's one way to put it.
Yeah,
It's a very nice
I'm
way
trying to be politically
it's an
correct. I teach at a
interesting
college.
Yeah, it's just I think I don't know, like I don't know the solution to this, but I don't think and I'm calling them kids. A lot of these pieces of literature, even TV, like there's a whole movement against like taking Friends off the air because it doesn't it's from the 90s. So a lot of those jokes, if you put a 2020 lens on them, they're not going to stand up in time. But like, why can't we just take these pieces of art for the time capsule of time that they were in?
Especially comedy ages the worst. You know, in literature, it's a product of its time. Same as comedy.
Like all
it's
these
like
things
the context.
they're time capsules.
Yes.
So you have to take it in the context that it was in and learn from the lesson that
same with going through people's old tweets,
and
then
the
trying to like
culture.
cancel them, and it's like,
You're
listen,
looking at it through a different lens.
That was it. That was I think how people talk about certain subjects even like 8 years ago. I know me like stuff like I know so much more about like trans and like rights and all that stuff, and it's just like you might have made a joke that now you would never make, and you probably didn't mean it in a rude way at that time.
Have you gone back? Have you guys gone back and looked at old tweets and started like deleting? You know, as your career started, like when you did your Comedy Central thing, you're like,
did you have to do that? Did Comedy Central ask you to do that?
No,
I feel like it's probably part of just like normal practice now.
You know, it was like one of these digital sets that randomly got 2 million views. So the
which one was this? Because I've seen some of your like I'm a fan.
I'm a fan of yours.
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan of you guys. I don't know. It was mostly like jokes about teaching, and I think the reason why it got so many views is their caption was like teacher student wants to have sex with her, which of course is not the story, but whatever.
Oh my God.
Oh, you did that bit at
yes.
That's some clickbait right there, though.
Yeah, I was like, I get it. You guys captioned it something, but like, I do worry just about like I don't know how you guys would define cancel culture, but I think the idea of having so little like stretchiness in your mind for how people change, how they are able to adapt, how their minds change, what they can learn, like how history changes, how context changes, how like even old stories of mine, because I write fiction, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have written that now, and like fiction's pretty, it's not nearly as offensive as jokes. I don't know.
Look at my old student films, and at the time I thought they were great, and now I look back and I'm like, there's certain things there. I was like, oh, I can't even put this out because it's a joke that I couldn't make
that you wouldn't make now.
There were jokes like I have videos that I had to like take down from YouTube of jokes I was making even 5 years ago.
Yeah, same.
That I can't really do anything with those now. So it's.
And some of it is like, oh, I'm so glad I would never do this joke again. And then sometimes I'm like, I'm upset that I have to worry about this being offensive. I think I think it depends.
And you know what? Like when I was in school, like I was watching Russell Peters and Pablo Francisco and George Lopez, and all they talk about is racial humor.
Right.
Like it's all racial humor, which is like. It makes people so uncomfortable, depending on the room that you're in.
Right.
It makes people so uncomfortable
I think it can be a bummer,
and
this idea, especially like Gen X, of just like hearing just a word.
Yeah.
And then that like.
And shutting down immediately.
And shutting down without hearing like, what's the point of the joke, or what's it trying to convey, or all that kind of stuff.
That's another form of being closed-minded.
Yeah. But it's also like we don't have the attention span, right? So like the younger generation, they especially don't have the attention span. Because they grew up with a lot more technology than we have. So if they don't have the attention span, they don't have the patience. So if they're hearing buzzwords,
it's a filter for them.
It's a filter. It's like, okay, I don't have to listen to this anymore.
Yeah.
I already don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like this topic, so their brain just shuts off.
But the thing with live comedy is it's like you're already there in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess,
But it makes it hard. If you're doing a 30-minute or an hour set, and you do a 5-minute bit like 10 minutes into your act, and they're like, oh, I don't like this topic, And then you're just dealing with a crowd
Yeah.
of 22-year-olds that are just sitting there watching you to be polite, but
Yeah.
they're already on their phones.
Yeah.
They've already like, oh, she's talking about like 20-year-olds being hoes. I'm not gonna listen to this anymore. And it's like, you're not even gonna try to listen to me now. Like, you don't even want. It's like there's no patience to try to understand the other side.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, are we even gonna have lawyers?
Yeah.
In the next generation, like, isn't that the whole, like, you want to try to understand the other side so you can at least come with an argument?
Yeah.
It's kind of scary to me, actually.
I know it's weird. I think it's gonna shift, my guess.
It always does. I feel like the pendulum always swings.
Yeah.
We get, we go one way, and then that's why, like, you see so many, like, you flipping between Democrat, Republican, like, not between, like, you'll get your 8 years of your Democrat and then 8 years of a Republican.
Is that what they say?
I think that's what's been happening.
Yeah, I think that's just generally
how
how
you mean
change
how
happens.
how the political system works.
Well, I think that's how everything kind of works.
Yeah.
Go back to dating.
Yeah.
Like, when we're sort of like, you date one
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
guy, you
yeah,
get
yeah.
information,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this doesn't work. You try
Timing is a
something else.
lot. And when you're young,
then you go back and forth.
The dick is swinging
Yeah.
back and forth.
when you're young, you just think you know everything too. You don't
Yeah.
even know what you don't
That's
know.
true, too,
I miss
yeah.
that time. So
Yeah.
now I feel like I know
Experimenting.
so much about what I don't know.
So, like, I think we use contrast to move forward.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, we're doing this works, this doesn't work, okay, well, we'll go the other way.
Yeah.
And then we just sort of swing back and forth as we move forward.
I heard this thing recently. I've been thinking about it a lot. That like the first time that any writing was recorded in a cave or whatever,
Yeah.
what it was saying was that this was the downward spiral of civilization, that the act of inventing language and writing was going to kill civilization because storytelling was no longer going to exist and oral storytelling was so important. And then, of course, when like TV came, everyone was like, that's it, that's the end of books. And then like now print, it's people are like, that's it, that's the end. And it's like now the internet, people are like, that's it, that's the end. And this idea that the earliest worry
Yeah.
was that new technology was going to be the end gives me like a lot of peace, because I'm just like, oh, that's been always a worry that
Change.
remains.
the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time, since words were invented, people worried that words were gonna. Since
Yeah.
writing was invented, they said that.
I'm
it'll be the
excited
end.
though. Like, what's next? Like holograms, or are we just gonna be able to read each other's minds? Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
We're going to
And
have
we'll
smartphones
think-
in our head.
Yeah.
Like my dad always thinks that like the internet's like terrible and scary, and he's like in his 70s.
kind of is.
And it
It
is, but
is.
it's like I know that I'm gonna think that
He's
now.
right and wrong. You know.
Yeah, and I'm going to think that now about the next thing that happens, and then I will remember. Well, everybody always thinks that
Yeah.
about every. I think it's what's scary about getting older is that you feel like you no longer understand the world as much.
I mean, I think Tinder is the demise of society, but you know.
And you found your boyfriend on maybe not
on
Tinder, but
Coffee
on
Meets
something.
Bagel, but yeah, like you never know. Honestly,
You never know.
You never know.
So is that a concern?
Nothing meant for you will pass you by. Shout out to Stevie Nelson, who has a great Instagram account where she makes little mantras.
Oh, that's sweet. That's cute.
But, like, so we were talking about relevance. Like, is that something that concerns you? You mentioned that, like, it's scary getting old because we understand the
I
world
don't think it's
a little less.
relevance. I think it's like I have a really weird thing with time passing and like my birthdays. And I used to cry, ever since I was like 22. Something about aging another year. I don't
I
know
get so
quite
weird
what
about
it
my
is. Like,
birthdays,
it's so
too.
weird. And it's not even like a vanity thing. It's like the three of us look young. It's like I'm not worried. Yeah, I guess I do have to now worry about like if I want children in my eggs and shit. But I
Ugh.
more am just like I feel almost like a non like out of body. I don't feel 30. It's crazy to me how not my age I feel.
You feel younger?
Yeah, I guess. I just
I
don't
don't-
feel identified with
I don't
it.
feel an age. Like I don't.
Maybe that's
feel,
it. I don't even feel an age.
I don't feel any different than when I felt like when I was like 22.
Yeah.
I mean, I look more bloated sometimes, but you
Yeah.
know,
Every
and, like,
meal shows on me.
I respond to foods and lactose differently,
And
but like
alcohol.
I still feel the same. And then I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh shit, this is what I
Yeah.
look like now in the morning.
Well, I also just
know,
think I'm
but-
worried about like there are a lot of things I want to accomplish, and I worry about time running out.
I always feel like I'm running out of time.
Yes,
When
I think it has to do with that way more
Yeah.
than like, do
Yeah.
I still look hot? And I don't act. I just write and do stand up. So I feel like maybe with actresses that's like a different worry,
Yeah.
I do worry about like I'll be like, do I still know what's going on as much as like 22-year-olds? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not that they know more about what's going on, but they know a different, you know.
Yeah.
Or they're, they grew up with this sort of level
Yeah,
of technology,
yeah.
whereas like I didn't, so I don't like to be that plugged in.
Oh, and I can't make a
Personally.
website. I have to like hire somebody to do it for me. It's like lame shit like
Girl,
that.
my website has been on my to-do list for like 2 years.
I had to hire someone and
And
it's
I'm
so
like-
bad. Everybody was like, "You hired someone to do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't know. What do I know?"
What's your website?
Just my name, amysilverberg.com.
Check it out.
Oh, sorry to the guy who made it, in case he listens to this.
Oh my god.
It just looks very like I could have made it, but I didn't know how. So
But I totally get that fear of like running out of time, because now I think, past your 20s, like you start experiencing aging a little bit more. Like
Yeah.
me being sick, getting the flu, like I thought I was going to be back to normal in 3 days. I was sick for 2
Yeah.
fucking weeks and I'm still not 100%.
I think especially being a girl, a woman, you have to be like, oh, I haven't decided if I want children. I've never felt that I had to worry about it, and like I never felt the pressure to decide until like this year. It's so weird watching do you guys watch The Bachelor and stuff? Like
I don't, but I
Sometimes,
heard
yeah.
I heard it's really intriguing.
I think I always like it, and I always just have it on in the background.
More
I
people
can't be alone.
wasn't it like, who was telling me more people voted for The Bachelor than they voted in the election
I'm
or
sure,
something
I'm
like
sure.
that? Yeah.
Well, you can't vote
Yeah.
for The Bachelor, but maybe they
But
did,
like,
they were
yeah,
watching it
yeah,
more or something.
Something.
But
crazy
anyway,
like
I keep
that,
just
yeah.
being like, I can't believe I never would have gone on The Bachelor ever in my life, of
Yeah.
course, but that I've aged out of like who goes on that.
Yeah.
It's weird being in a new bracket. I also
Yeah.
was in a relationship in my late 20s, and then now I'm single and no longer in that bracket. And I'm just like, I'm in a new bracket. It's so odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget my age all the time. People ask it, and I'm always like 20, and I'm like, no. New
Think for a
bracket.
second. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just not subscribing an age to my birthdays anymore.
Oh, me too.
I'm just not doing
My
it.
birthday's coming up February 12th, same as Abe Lincoln, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna I'm not interested in marking. I'm just turning 30 over and over
Yeah,
again. I
it's
guess
just
now
it's
for the rest
another
of my
year
life.
around the sun. You did it.
Did it. I
That's
learned
it.
a little more. I
Yeah.
accomplished a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess like what was like so scary about being sick was like I was like, oh, is this old age? Like when you can't, like when you physically
When you can't bounce back.
or you can't do anything. Like I was,
Right.
I don't know. I just imagine everyone's gonna get cancer at some point. So then you're gonna be.
I don't know
No,
what I'm
no.
talking about.
Come on.
Just shoot
I
me.
know. I'm sorry. I'm
we
sorry.
we have a tour that we need to plan. Okay, no one's getting cancer.
No one can get cancer until after our tour.
But yeah, we have this tour to plan, and like I couldn't even think for like a week. I couldn't even use my brain.
I like that
And I
when
was
you
like, I'm
got
a week
sick, you
older. I
went
have-
to, that's it. I'm a
Getting
thousand. I'm cancer. I'll never work again. I'll never leave
I
the
told
house.
you the mood swings, and then I talked to my therapist about it. He's like, "Well, people tend to get more pessimistic when they're sick.
Yeah,
Things are
yeah.
feel much
Yeah.
worse."
Yeah, that's
But-
true.
But like a week passed, 2 weeks passed like it was nothing. That's half a month, and like I'm half a month older, and I probably look half a month
Oh my
older.
God, no, you don't.
The
Shut
other
up.
thing too is like whatever age people tell me they are, I'm like, yeah, okay. Men
Yeah.
I can never tell. I think they either look 24 or 39. I'm just very confused about everyone in between. And women I always
What
think
about
look
the brackets
younger.
in between?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just always like if you told me you were 23, I'd be like, she looks 23. Yeah,
Oh, tight.
Yeah,
I
it works.
usually, I get 27, 28 is what is my TV age.
That's your TV
28.
age.
I feel 27.
Young mom.
Like just essence wise, I think.
Yeah,
26, 27.
yeah.
Unless when I'm teaching, I sometimes feel pretty old, but
I feel old when I'm actually around other 22-year-olds.
yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I can't do this.
Well, my students too. It's like some of the football players look 40. They look like they're like huge,
Yeah.
and then like boys standing next to them who are like their same age look like 17. It's just the
Yeah.
range of what they look like too is
Mhm.
like wild.
That never changes though. There's always going to be people like I mean I think because we're in LA we take better care of ourselves and stuff.
Mhm.
We could go out to the Midwest, people
Yeah,
are
people are
same
smoking
age
and
they're
drinking
and they've had like
Had
5
many
kids
kids.
and all of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
and it's like wow,
Yeah.
like I've seen a shift in people like and I tell them my age they're like, "Oh. Yeah, like, and it's mostly with like younger people. I've noticed that they're like there's some sort of like switch that goes off in people when you tell them you're like of a certain age, that they like just automatically put you like, oh, you're that old now.
Oh, see the Oz.
Yeah, like you
Ugh.
could
Get to me.
automatically
Those irritate me. Those irritate me.
I
'cause
know. I
it's
told
like,
someone I was
Yeah.
30, and they were like, "That's okay," and I was like,
like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
When I tell my students I'm 30, whatever their reaction is makes me mad. If they're surprised, I'm mad. If they're not surprised, I'm mad. I'm like, you're not allowed to have any reaction.
It's a number.
No,
Yes.
it's
This
a
is how
number.
long
Like,
I've been
they're-
alive.
And I remember when I was in college and 30 seems so old, and I'm just like, just you guys wait.
It's not.
yeah.
You know?
It's not.
I,
Yeah.
I felt. I mean, we all do.
Yeah.
We all do. And then you get there, and you're like, like,
Yeah, I'm like,
I
I
don't
don't feel
It's
it.
fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. We're all fine, okay? We're
we,
in Gotham.
we got crazy at the
Fucking Gotham. We're all
towards the end.
doing vigilante
are-
shit.
I will
running
say,
shit.
not
It's
to
fine.
be Pollyanna, but there are things that I do like about like being 30. I mean, I feel so much less concerned with like dumb shit.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and I
emotionally,
feel-
healthier.
Yes, I feel really like
Mellow. I'm
yes,
mellow.
mellow, like
Yeah.
more zen. Maybe that's
I mean,
also
there
been
are
the
some
meditation
triggers. There are some triggers that will set me off. You know?
that didn't used to when you were younger. You're saying, or just in general?
In general, I think I have less tolerance for some things. You know,
Mm.
like, and I'm like, this is a problem, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
yeah.
something
That you wouldn't have maybe some years
that
ago.
I would have like let it slide or
got
let
it.
it like
Yeah, yeah.
like just brush it under the rug.
Mhm.
But that could be growth also.
But, yeah,
Standing
but
up for the right things.
Yeah, so now it's like I'll vocalize, like I'll say shit when I see
Mhm.
something that I'm
Mhm,
not okay
mhm,
with, whereas
mhm.
before I would have been scared to.
Yeah, I think that's like a
You know?
confidence thing
Yeah,
too. When you
yeah.
get like a little bit.
So I mean, it's like it's good in both ways. Like I'll
Yeah.
vocalize for the most part. I'm mellow. Like
Yeah.
nothing really matters that much anymore.
Yeah.
You know, as long as everyone's
Or es-
happy and healthy.
Especially things that you
you
thought
know.
mattered.
Yeah.
When I have
Yeah.
like really young friends in stand up, that's the other weird thing about stand up is I have like close friends who are like 24 or 25, and I'm like, I can't believe
Yeah.
that I have this like very close 25-year-old friend, and
Yeah.
the stuff that she's really concerned with, I will just be like, you will not be concerned with that in a year
Yeah.
or less. I
Yeah.
wish that I could convince you that that's
But
true.
That's
Yeah.
so sweet that you listen. My brain just like stops. Like I just stop
I
absorbing.
mean, I can't listen to everyone,
It's
but
hard.
if they're my friend, and
Yeah,
I am a little bit like, you keep me young, you know, like,
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
up to?
And you get some
What dumb
younger
shit are you
friends,
thinking?
And you get some.
Yeah, so a
These
younger
students
listener.
I go to
Promising
open mics. I think
students.
that's why.
I actually haven't asked for our young listeners. Send us your problems so we know what problems
Yeah.
you're dealing with.
Tweet them at me at Amy
Yeah.
Silverberg. I'd love to hear your problems.
Oh, yeah, I think we probably got to wrap
Yeah,
up.
we
We're
Yeah.
at
we should
70.
wrap.
I gotta go to sleep. I'm watching that Cheer documentary. Are you guys?
Oh, is
I
it out?
started.
Love.
It's already out.
so good.
What?
Have
Yeah.
you guys watched the Aaron Hernandez one?
No, but I would like to
Oh my
too.
God, I'm scared to watch that one.
So I
It's
can't
good.
go on
It's
dates
very
because
good.
I want to come home and eat soup and watch
Oh my God.
Cheer.
Yeah, I started
Documentary.
watching Cheer. I watched everything when I was sick,
Yes,
but
yes,
I
yes.
highly right now. Highly.
It's so
recommend
good.
the
It's really
Aaron Hernandez.
moving.
Cheer, yeah. It
Yeah.
takes place in which state? It's
Texas,
Okay.
but like this little junior college has the best cheer program. You know about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's in my queue. It's in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
recommended.
You're gonna
I'm
really
all
like
right,
it.
Okay. I just every time I get into a new documentary, I'm like, I'm done. Nothing's happening for the rest of like the next 2 days.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's all I'm doing.
Luckily,
in my
this
life.
one's only 6 episodes, so
Okay.
it won't eat up
yeah.
Okay.
that much time.
Okay.
The Aaron Hernandez is 3 episodes.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah,
I love
it's
a
very
you know,
good. They do.
I love a
great job.
freaky murder thing.
And they talk about. Well, I don't want to give. Any
I love
spoilers, but-
learning about violent football players. You know.
With head injuries, whatever it is.
The way they did-
CBT.
The way they did the documentary, though, is it's
Yeah.
It's
It's
very
not
well
like
done.
overproduced because I feel like a lot of these documentaries I'm watching on like serial killers. Like, have you seen
Mhm.
Don't Fuck with Cats?
Oh,
Yeah,
I heard
liked
really
it.
great things about
I-
it.
I
It's
enjoyed
good.
it.
It's a little overproduced, and
Okay.
there's some plot holes in there, but it was good. It was very good. But now
This
it's
is
like,
a different tone than that.
but like every weirdo, I'm like, is
I
this
feel like
guy-
this is also 30
guy
of
killing
being like,
cats?
what documentaries and what podcasts? This is what I talk
Yeah.
about with my friends who are around
Yeah.
my age.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. My younger friends, you know, I think smart people are
we all
interested
get
in.
into murder.
Yeah, yeah.
podcasts, and
yeah, I mean, we live in
Yeah.
Gotham. Of course, we're gonna listen to that shit.
Yeah.
We need to be prepared, okay? Since
Yes,
we
we-
got to take care of this shit ourselves.
Oh my god,
It's real.
I'm like, kill me first. You know, I'm not gonna do well in an apocalypse. I just know myself.
I'm on mood stabilizers. Like, how am I gonna live in the apocalypse?
I
don't
need
wanna mix
insulin. I'm a type 1
medications.
diabetic. Yeah, I'd be like, did you guys have any insulin around here?
Man, we're gonna be
Uh,
looting like hospitals and God knows
yes,
what
I
else.
know.
It's happening. It's gonna happen.
But
All right, Paul's looking at us. We
All
gotta
right.
wrap this up.
We
Sorry,
have-
this
pork
was
bun.
fun.
we'll do like should we do the questions? We do like some questions sometimes. 2 questions.
Give me one. Give me one. Let's give me one,
Um,
and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, do you have any questions about like South Asian culture?
No question is weird. This is a
Yeah,
safe
brown
space.
I will
people,
tell you that my
basically.
very best friend, Jasmine Tejwani,
Yeah.
she's half Indian and half Filipino, and
Is she hot? She
she's
sounds
super
like
hot.
She's hot.
Yeah. She also, she's just the best. She's been my best friend since 7th grade, so we go way back. She's my only friend who still lives. She lives at home, which I feel sounds weird, except that I feel her dad passed away, and then she lived with her mom, and then her sister had a baby, and I think part of it is that she is like Indian and Filipino, and it's like not so weird to stay
Yeah.
home. Whereas like if you're a white person, you seem like a loser who stayed home. But with her, this was all to say, no, I don't have any questions. Shout out to Jasmine. Nothing that's pressing that I need to ask you
Yeah.
guys.
That's a good observation.
She's your go-to to answer any of those.
Yeah,
kind
if
of
I have any questions,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. That's great that you have someone in your life like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have any
Betsy's-
questions for me? I'm a Jew. My mom converted.
Aw.
Like we were both raised Muslim, so I feel like we share a lot of like culturally the guilt,
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, true.
And the- A lot of
Catholics too.
guilt. The-
Yeah.
laws, and the, you
Ugh.
know, like
I'm driven by such guilt and obligation.
so.
I
can
relate.
always
Like
I
a-
think it is like I always think that my issue with time passing is like a very Jewish
Oh,
like
yeah.
feeling. It's like a neuroses that like my
Neuroses.
dad has, and I wonder if you guys have that too.
I mean, I'm pretty neurotic, but we're all comedians here too, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, who knows?
No, but the whole like you're wasting your time
Yes,
thing,
yes.
that's definitely I don't know if it's like a religion thing or a cultural thing, but yeah, my mom has always told me
Or
like
like
you're
an
wasting your
immigrant
time.
thing. Yeah.
You're wasting your time, you're running out of time. Like
Yeah.
basically I think I missed the deadline to find a husband, and so now it's like I'm always running out of time.
My dad's like
You
a
know?
real hand wringer, like like a catastrophist. He
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
thinks the worst, sort of like
It's the end of time.
yeah, the end.
Yeah.
Everything's the end of time, and I was like, it's been the end of time since I was like born, because
Sounds
I remember that
exhausting.
you've been saying this since I
Mhm.
was, born.
But yeah, where can we find you on the internet?
I'm at my full name on all platforms.
Dot
Website
com,
that I
dot
could
Dot
have made
com.
myself, and a Twitter and an Instagram at Amy Silverberg. I'm on Twitter the most, I'd say, but I'm around, and
People,
Instagram.
Go follow her. Her
Anything to
shit's
plug? Oh, you have a big
hilarious.
Comedy Central. You have your set.
Yeah,
on-
easy to find.
You,
Yeah.
you have stuff coming out too?
I have a short story in the Parish Review, which I'm excited about, which is a magazine that I've always wanted to be in. So, and I have a story in
Amazing.
Best American Short Stories, but it's 2018, so you have to find it a little bit. If you go to my website, a lot of my fiction's there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh my
Do you guys
God,
have
so
anything that
much.
you? I feel like I need to ask you
my
because it would be
God.
weird to ask
This
each
is-
other.
What? I'm like honored to be in her presence right now.
I'm honored
It's
to be
like,
in your presence. This is so
Just
fun.
fun. Yeah, I feel like we should go
Great.
get Korean barbecue.
If
Yeah.
it wasn't, if
Yeah,
it
if
wasn't
it
our
wasn't, like,
bedtime,
12.
If it wasn't like
10:40.
10:45.
Yeah, so we're Facial Recognition Comedy, facialrecognitioncomedy.com.
When's your next show?
It is in San
Girl,
Francisco at SF Sketch
San
Fest.
Fran
this
Sketch
Friday,
Fest.
Sketch Fest.
January 24th. We have 2
That's
shows
fun.
at Cafe du Nord.
8 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. 8 p.m. show is almost sold out. 10:30 p.m. show, we have tickets available. Go buy your tickets online. Bring your friends, bring your neighbor, bring your parents, bring everybody.
And do it soon because the spillover is going to go into the 10:30 show.
Yeah,
so Get your
seriously.
tickets now.
Get your tickets.
We're in New York on January 31st, 11:30 p.m. at New York Comedy Club, Gramercy location. Use code FRC for $10 off.
Use the promo code, please. If you don't use the promo code, we don't get paid. So
You guys have
Use
a
the promo
very
code.
cool like radio DJ thing right now.
We've
like
done 90, this
we've
is the
done-
91st episode.
it's like
done
very
a lot of
like
these.
part of the like morning zoo of like honk honk, and if you want free tickets,
Paul, throw in some sound
use
effects.
the promo code,
like
please.
we'll be there.
Can you do our sounds while I'm doing this,
Yeah,
actually?
yeah.
And we have, I believe our next show in LA is
February 9th?
I think it's the 8th, actually.
Is
It's
it
second
it's
Sunday.
February 9th?
Oh, you're right.
February 9th, Westside Comedy Theater in
Oh,
Santa
great
Monica
theater, love it.
at 9 p.m. Great
I
theater.
do.
And for those of you who don't want to go to Santa Monica next month, we are going to be at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood on President's Day. That is February 17th. So we got so many shows coming up. You take
And
a pick.
I would
Come
love
out.
the Laugh Factory to book me. So
Yeah,
Girl,
wouldn't we all?
wouldn't we all?
This
Wouldn't
is
we
like this is
all?
a third party booking.
shout-
Like, this is, you know,
shout out to the Laugh Factory. We'd all love to be booked there.
yeah, women in general, I
You
think,
know,
would just all
yes,
love.
well,
We got credits.
Yes, we have
we're funny,
credits.
you know,
it's a real pyramid that I don't know how to enter.
we got
there.
students. We can bring in some fresh
Oh,
blood.
my students will come. They will come.
Oh my god. Yeah, we'll just drop our stuff. I'm
Yeah.
Fizadasani at Fizadasani and Fizadasani.com.
And I'm Zara Ali. It's really Zara on all the socials. Zara is spelled Zahra.
And any final words you want to leave our listeners with?
Words
No.
of wisdom.
I'm
words of
a
advice.
huge Howard Stern fan. I was gonna say Baba Booey, but I should just get off. You know?
Get off!
Yes.
Get
okay,
off.
bye.
You're single. Get off!
Call Batman.
Oh,
all right.
no.
Bye.